Joining me today on the London Theatre Review is actor Kevin McHale, who is appearing in The Frogs, Stephen Sondheim's The Frogs, at Southwark Playhouse. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm pretty well. We're in the throes of rehearsal, but it's a really fun show, so I've been having a really good time.
Well, for those who don't know, tell us a little bit about The Frogs.
It's based off of an Aristophanes play of the same name, and for those that may think that sounds boring, it's Sondheim and Nathan Lane's version of that. So loosely inspired of Dionysus' trip down to the underworld to find and save a great artist to bring back to Earth to save humanity in a few words. That's
Right.
basically that's basically it. And it's very, I hate to say this, but it's very timely. I hate that.
Right.
But I think there's a reason why Nathan Lane did it post 9/11, and it's a little too fitting for the times right now, but it's also just a great night at the theater. It's fun, it's a satire, it's silly, and then there's a hint of a really positive message in there.
Right. And what's your part in it?
I play Xanthias. I am the servant to Dionysus. I think he is sort of the voice of reason, the people's voice, if you will. I feel like
Uh-huh.
Dionysus has, big whimsical dreams and idealist, being the god of drama and god of wine and all of that,
Yeah.
where Xanthias is there to sort of tongue in cheek look at the crowd and be like, I don't think this is a good idea. Everyone can see
I
it.
see.
Yeah.
Right. I see. Audiences, well, tell me first of all, how did it come about that you've come over here to do the show in London?
I had been talking about doing another show here that didn't end up happening, and a good friend of mine is a theater producer here, and he was like, "Well, now that I know that you're interested in doing this, because any excuse to come over to London to work in general has always been, you know, something I've been searching for." And he put me in touch with Georgie just to meet Georgie, the director,
Yeah.
and she and I had a really great chat, and she sent over the frogs, and we talked about it a couple times, and it just sounded like something I wanted to work on, not only in London, not only because it's on time, I wanted to do it with her. It's something that she was really passionate about, and I think it's one of those things. It's exciting to do a Sondheim play that I think is really great and doesn't get done enough.
I think the company's social media game has been very good on this because it's opening alongside Here We Are at the National Theatre, and I saw them. Somebody
Happy
tweeted from the
coincidence.
account. Yeah, somebody tweeted from the account the other day saying you can now see two weird Sondheim shows a 15-minute walk apart, which I thought was very smartly done.
Very true. Yeah.
So, what's the pleasure for you of being in London?
Since Glee, I've been able to come over here a lot. So I built a really great friend group over here. Some of my closest friends live over here. And there's anytime I've worked over here, I don't know what it is. I think it's probably a cultural difference, but everyone's just so pleasant. There hasn't been any ego involved. And I've done, theater now and TV in different capacities here. And the sense of humor is something I enjoy a lot more over here than in the States. And so all those things combined just make for like a really fun and challenging work experience. And, I hosted a panel show here, which I'm not a host.
Yeah,
I was sort of a competitor on a reality show thing, which again,
yeah,
not my thing. And so I really like apparently putting myself in these positions that make me a little uncomfortable. Um,
right.
but doing it over here around people that make those experiences that are challenging just a really good time.
You mentioned Glee, of course, which is probably what people still over here mostly know you for, or chiefly know you for, although you've had, as you say, an incredibly varied career. What are your feelings about that show now, with the benefit of several years hindsight?
Yeah, I mean, I'm immensely proud of it. I loved being a part of it. I think we were all very lucky to be a part of it. And, through the pandemic and even now again, there's been like these weird resurgences of younger people finding it, which is crazy. The good and the bad, everything involved with that show, it's still a gift to have been a part of it, and a show that meant so much to so many different groups of people who were often not represented in such a big way. And part of that being, the musical theater community, which was really fun to get to represent on network television, which was very odd that it worked at all.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. You started out in pop music as a member of NLT, moved into acting. As you said, you've done panel shows, you've done podcasts, you've done American Horror Story. But am I right that you only made your live theatre debut last year?
Yeah, correct. In October, I did.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, I did the look. A lot of the Glee folk have been trying to get me to do theater for a really long time. Darren and Leah and Jenna were all like, "You need to be doing this." But as someone who understands how hard it is to do theater and how you don't necessarily, people aren't necessarily doing it for the pay. They're doing it because they
Yeah,
love it. And I respect that. And I didn't want to just show up and be like, here I am trying to do this thing that you've all dedicated your life to and really love. And
yeah,
so I've been very hesitant to do that. But 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee came around, a production at the Kennedy Center in DC last year. And I love that show. And it was just an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. I did it and had the most fun time doing it. It was such a great group of people. The cast was incredible. The producers and the whole team that worked on it, doing it at the Kennedy Center was so special. And it couldn't have been a better first foray into this. It really just ignited something in me, like, oh, I understand now. I understand.
right.
You as an audience member, I've loved theater and I understand the
Yeah,
magic of theater. But being on the other side of it in this way, it's like, wow, it really is a miracle that every day this can come together and this can happen in front of a live
right.
audience. And being a part of
Yeah.
it was scary, but also just very, very rewarding and just filled me with as much joy or more joy than attending the theater as an audience member.
Southwark Playhouse is going to be a slightly different scale to the Kennedy Center, isn't it? How are you gonna sort of recalibrate to that space?
I'm excited. I think luckily when I met with Georgie, we had talked over a year ago over Zoom, and I met with her in London in August, and she actually walked me through the space just to see it. And
Yeah,
that if the show happened, this is where it would probably be. And that was one of the most exciting parts to me. I come from a live performance background. Being on stage, being able to see the audience and interact with the audience is my favorite thing. And
yeah,
and I think, Spelling Bee was sort of a perfect lead into this because a lot of that is sort of one person in front of a microphone doing a little bit for the audience and being able to play with the audience. And this is more of that, but in a different way. And so I'm very excited. I know for some people it is scary because we are literally in the audience's laps at Suffolk, but I am very excited.